We did it, Vince. We hit
1,000
subscribers.
Yo, Adrian! I did it!
Gee, the lack of humility before nature that's being displayed here staggers me.
I mean, for a lot of these YouTube pages, they'll probably look at this and start laughing. You're like, oh man, who cares? But you know, it's a big deal to us. I mean, because every single one of you guys, every single subscriber on this page means a lot to us. You know, if you have 3 million subscribers, you might get 50 million or 50,000 subscribers every month. You're like, whatever. But for every single subscriber, you know, we have worked for that, and we have, you know, sweated. It's 97 degrees outside. I'm sitting out in my backyard, and it's horror month. And got drunk for it sometimes, and smoked cigars for it.
Light them up.
And ran down the street for it. Apparently we're having a tornado outside, and they ended up stopping our movie. So, yeah, so we're waiting for the movie to start again. It's like complete craziness here. I've never seen anything like it.
1,000.
You know, I was going to talk a little bit about how we started this channel and what we were doing in the very beginning, which was crazy, to where we are now, which is still crazy, but still, okay, when we first started this channel, Vince, we actually started on a web page. It was called, I think, Front Row Review.
No, the web page was originally called True Review.
Well, that's right. It was called True Review, and we actually just had a web page first, and we didn't have nothing else, and we would do handwritten reviews on there. For every month, you know, every movie we would go see, we'd actually write out the reviews and post them on the web page, which really nobody went to.
We were bloggers before there were actual bloggers.
And I remember the day that I called you and asked you about doing a YouTube page. My wife and I were at Burger King, and we were sitting there discussing, and YouTube was fairly new. It was only out for a couple years. You know, I was discussing with her, I said, you know, I'd really like to do a YouTube page. And she's like, oh yeah, you know, those people on YouTube will tear you apart. The comments will be nasty, because a lot of the channels are like that. They get on there and they just hate your channel, and they hate you, and they call you names, and I was like, and then I called you when I was at Burger King. I said, Vince, you know, I'm thinking about, let's do a YouTube channel.
And I kind of thought the same thing a little bit, was, you know, yeah, we get on there and we're going to get all kinds of nasty, a lot like what Facebook is now.
And I even told you on the phone, I don't know if you remember me telling you that, I'm like, well, you got to be prepared. You're going to have some thick skin to get on here and do these videos. And
I didn't really care. I mean, you know, people got their opinions.
But the good thing is, we've had a great audience here. We've had a really, really great audience. Very, very few comments we have gotten have been nasty. I mean, a couple of them are like, oh, you suck, or you stupid, or, you know, I hate you, or something. But it's been really, really very few and far between on those, because we have such an awesome audience here that, you know, like I said, that's why we appreciate everybody who watches this channel.
It's been, especially in the last few months here, we've gotten some people that have been extremely loyal and showing up for every review that we do. And I you know, like who is that? Gary Novak, I think, is one of them, and Jason 36 or something like that. I can't remember all the numbers and stuff.
And Wes has been really great here too.
That's right. These few people, I mean, they're with us like every review, and we appreciate that. So that's why I gave you the shout out.
All right, when we first started doing this, webcams were not perfected. They were really cheap. The quality of them was terrible, and the internet connection wasn't good enough either for both Vince and I to get on here and do what we're doing. So the way we used to do it, and sounds crazy, but this is how we did it, was Vince is in Florida, I'm in St. Louis, and we would sit here and record like we're doing, and we would do like 5 or 6, 7 reviews on regular video cameras. And then when we were done, Vince would send his videotapes through the mail, and it took like a week to get to me, and he would send me like 3 or 4 videotapes, and then I would take the tapes and put them in the camera transfer the tapes onto the computer, and then, you know, put the reviews up on the channel. And that's probably the first, what, 40 reviews we did like that? 50 reviews?
Yeah, we hadn't even gotten the green screens at that point. That's
another interesting thing, was you were recording it in your bedroom with a microphone, and I was like sitting up against my wood paneling, my 1970 wood paneling down here in the basement, and then I decided, hey, let's do some green screen. I didn't know how to do it, so I went out to Walmart and bought like 10 of those, you know, green poster boards for this, and taped them all up on the wall, and it looked terrible, but that's how I ended up starting doing it. And then after that, you know, we got the actual green screen to hang up behind us and stuff. But I mean, again, it's just, you know, the starting from where we were to where we are now. And I remember telling you too, Vince, that one day, Vince, we're going to be able to watch a movie, and the same day we're going to come home and record it. I mean, that was our main goal.
That's what we did. I mean, Front Row Reviews, that was the beginnings of this, and like David said, you know, it was me with my microphone in my bedroom, and then eventually I went and did it in my kitchen.
I mean, no disrespect, but them hats are horrible. That is horrible. Those hats are retarded.
I'm Vince Maniacs, and this is just not working.
Open up!
Because he ate it. He ate it.
Yeah, I remember that.
But the one thing about us doing these reviews and everything that's a lot different from what other people do, that was the thing that when we started doing this, I was like, well, I want to make sure it's going to be different from what everybody else does. And what everybody else does usually ends up being like somebody in their basement of their parents' house with a great big DVD library between them or behind them, and you know, and they're talking about a film, but they're discussing like the entire film, and they don't really give a review. It's more like, here's my synopsis of the entire movie. So they tell you about the entire thing instead of actually giving you what they thought of it, what if it was a good movie or if it was a bad movie or what. And the other thing that we do that's completely different from anybody else is we'll go through on, like, particularly on Blu-rays and things, we'll go through all the extra features, all the deleted stuff, all the gag reels, the behind the scenes making ofs, and all of that.
So one other thing I want to talk about here, and this is something we've never said on any review, any channel, anywhere, is how Vince and I first actually met each other. You want to talk about, do you even remember, Vince?
I remember being at lunch in school.
That's exactly, it was grade school.
And we went to a Lutheran school, and we were sitting at lunch, and I don't know if it was me or if it was you. One of us said something about the movie Popeye. And we started talking about it. And the rest is history.
The school we went to for some reason, had a bowling alley. Do you remember that bowling alley?
Barely, but yeah.
It's like we would walk down these steps, and there was, for whatever reason, there was a bowling alley there. And then there was another set of steps we'd have to walk up into to get to the cafeteria. And a lot of times, we would go to the cafeteria, and we'd have to stop there and wait, you know, for the line to go, and we'd always be stuck there by the bowling alley. And that is the point, right in that part, right there is when we met each other, talking about Popeye. That's the first movie we started talking about.
I mean, we had met each other in class, but it wasn't like we knew each other. We didn't really even talk. It was just, you know, we saw each other in class every day, but for some reason that day we happened to be right there at that moment. And I remember one of us, I don't know if it was me or you, but one of us mentioned Popeye. And we started talking about Popeye.
Yeah, I believe I heard you saying something about it, and then I started talking to you. I think that's how it went. And we had never reviewed Popeye on here. We should, but I don't even think it's out on Blu-ray, or it doesn't have any special editions. It don't have nothing, which is real shame because it's still a great film.
There's our review right there.
Do you want to hear an embarrassing thing that I did with Popeye when I was a kid? I mean, I might as well let it all hang out on this review. I'm just going to throw everything out here.
Oh no, he's going to let it all hang out.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
I tell you how obsessed with Popeye, and I've never told a story. I've never even told this to my wife. This is a brand new story and no one's ever heard. You never even heard it. It's embarrassing, but I'm going to tell you because that's what we do on here. We tell you embarrassing stuff. Yeah, I don't know how old I was, however old I was when I seen Popeye, and I guess I was in grade school, like I said. And I went and I took just a sheet of plain, like, paper, like note paper, and I took, like, a flesh-colored crayon, and I went and I, colored this paper, and then I put the anchor and stuff, and I made this big, huge paper forearm, and I put them on, and I'd be like walking down the street acting like I was Popeye when I was a kid. I still remember doing that. I still remember walking down the street with these big paper Popeye forearms I had on. Yep, that's my embarrassing Popeye story. But I did it.
I am what I am.
Here he is right here. Here's a Popeye action figure that I have. He's one of my favorite. I got a couple of them, but yeah, there he is. That's how obsessed with Popeye I was when I was a kid. So, yep.
I don't think I've ever done anything like that. I remember we were so obsessed with movies that we did a sort of a Star Wars / Dragon's Lair type film that we did in your backyard, and we had made this sword because there was some movie with a sword. It had like one big center blade and then two smaller blades that came out from both sides. It was like a 3-bladed sword.
Yeah, I was obsessed with that movie. What was it called? I think it was Sword and Sorcerer, maybe?
We used to send videotapes back and forth to each. Well, actually, it started out as cassette tapes. We'd send back and forth to each other. Just instead of actually writing letters, we'd send cassette tapes to each other. Eventually, it became videos, and David took that footage from that backyard sword fight that we had and added Star Wars effects to it.
And I'm planning on getting a video capture card and getting some of all my old videos recorded to the computer. And maybe if I can find that, I'll put it up on here. It would be interesting. Because Vince and I actually made a lot of really bad films, too. You'd come over and we made, like, bad Terminator movies and all that stuff.
But the other thing we also did when we first met was we watched a lot of movies together. And there was a lot of movies that I hadn't seen yet that I watched with him. And 3 of them that I can remember right offhand is The Exorcist, Friday the 13th, Part 3, and Creepshow.
For whatever reason, the only memory that I have going over to your house, I don't know if you ever remember this, is you used to have a back, like a sort of like a sun porch on your old house when you lived in St. Louis.
Yeah?
Well, I remember coming over there as a kid, and we were pretending that that was a spaceship. And there was some sort of game that you had. It had a blue top to it. And you could flip the top open, and that was our command module that we were using to pretend that we were on the spaceship flying somewhere. Do you remember that at all?
That porch became my Millennium Falcon, and eventually I did. I built a whole console around myself. We had 2 chairs out there, and I built this whole console around, and I used like weird toys like that, like, and had them sitting in there like that. That was like the Navicomputer or whatever,
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was our Millennium Falcon we were doing or something. I don't remember, but for whatever reason, that's the only memory I have of being at your house. There's our trip down memory lane, and I don't know where that came from, but we wanted to kind of do something special for the 1,000 subscribers to get you guys to know us a little bit better, to know how crazy we used to be when we were kids, and kind of, crazy we are now, I guess. That's why we're Maniacs. That's why we're Box Office Maniacs. We're so crazy.
But it's been fun. I enjoy doing this and letting you guys know a little bit more about us, and that's, this is maybe if you understand where we're coming from, you'll understand why the reviews turn out the way they do.
Hopefully we'll be back again for our 2,000 subscribers, and then maybe eventually we make it up to 100,000 subscribers, which would be, I don't know what we'd do that for that. I have no clue. I don't even know.
Fall over, pass out.
Thank you for every single subscriber, and we appreciate every single person who's on here and who watches our videos and who supports us and who has subscribed to their sites over the years. And you know, you guys are just amazing. And you know, we do these videos, like I said, because we love movies, but we also do it to entertain anyone who's watching as well. And you guys are just fantastic.
And I thank you all, and please don't forget to tell people about us, because it doesn't have to stop here. Like we said, we want to get to at least 2,000 subscribers. That's our next goal. Let's go for 2,000. And to do that, we need you guys to keep subscribing, getting people to subscribe to us. Get us out there. Tell people about us. Word of mouth is great.
Again, I cannot thank you enough. So this has been Box Office Maniacs, 1,000 subscribers. You're awesome.
Open up!
Because he ate it. He ate it.